A while back, we installed a set of Oracle's custom LED headlights on this 2015 Mustang GT. Now, these are complete headlight replacement assemblies that have RGB daytime running lights, have LED rings around the bulbs, and have built-in demon eyes, meaning you can get that look for your car without having to bake your factory headlight. Well, now Oracle offers a matching LED ring for your fog lights, and today we're going to install them. These LED rings are going to fit the factory fog lights in your 2015 through 2017 Mustang when equipped with the factory style round fogs. Now, they're going to include the power supply and all the connectors. Now, these are designed to work with the existing setup. So you will need either a set of Oracle headlights like our car has that have the Bluetooth controller, or the aftermarket DRLs for your factory lights. If you don't, a Bluetooth controller is available separately, but you will need one to run this setup. Now, the connections are going to be pretty straightforward to run these. Again, you'll have to either buy a Bluetooth controller or use the one that came with either your halo setup or your headlights if you go in that direction. Basically, your power and ground is going to be here for the fog lights. These can be tied into your turn signals. The owner of this car does not want that, but if you tie these into each of your turn signal wiring, these will actually flash with the turn signals. This connection here is going to go to your Bluetooth controller, and you just want to basically make sure that everything is safely mounted in the car. Now, in our case, when we installed the headlights, we mounted everything underneath the radiator cover, so we need access to the Bluetooth controller. So first thing we're going to do is remove this. We got our controller mounted right here. We're actually going to take it off the car and wire the new setup off the car to make it a little bit easier. You want to take note of where the wires are connected on the original controller, and we're going to remove those. We basically splice in these wires so it can control both the headlights and our new fog lights. I'm just going to kind of lay out where everything's going to go. Before we connect the power and ground, we basically have everything laid out where it's going to go. We have everything connected. We have our fog lights connected to a battery. We're just going to try it, make sure everything works before we go through the trouble of hiding all the wires and checking everything. So we checked our hookups and our wiring up top, and everything does work. So now we're going to come down here. We took the wheel off so you can see better, but basically you can turn it as well. But we're going to pull the splash shield off so we can get to the fog light, pull the fog light housing off, and install the halos. Out of the way. Now we can see our fog light. Remove the fog light, disconnect this harness here. Then you want to remove these 3 screws. All right, so the halo is actually going to stick to the fog light lens with the double stick tape. So you want to make sure this is really clean. Use some alcohol, clean the surface before you attempt to stick it on. If you look at your fog light, you'll see the labels on it. You'll make sure you know which way the top is because you want the wire to come off the top here. Again, just get it centered on the fog light. I'm just gonna flip it over. Let the tape set up. We're gonna start by kind of fishing the harness through first. as you tighten down the screws to hold the fog light to the bracket, you want to make sure you have an even amount of LEDs visible around the edge here. You're not going to see all of them because you don't want to, but you want to make sure the edge is even so it has the correct look when you turn it on. Then you can tighten them down. Now we actually just fish the wire to the engine bay. We're going to give them a try. And you can see, since they're hooked up with the same controller, they match what's happening with the headlights perfectly. All right, so now that we determined it works, and again, make sure it's centered so you get that even light. We're gonna repeat the process on the other side, then we'll show you the final wiring. Once the fog light's in place, don't forget to plug it back in, then reinstall your fender liner. So we just realized after we installed all this is Oracle includes this power supply. Now this power supply is if you're running a standalone Bluetooth controller. If you're sharing a Bluetooth controller with existing headlights, you actually won't need this because they'll get powered by the Bluetooth controller. So what we're doing now is just kind of cleaning up our wiring. Fish this over to the controller. That's from the driver's side halo. Currently our passenger one is also laying across the support, which won't work, so we're going to fish that underneath here. Okay, everything's plugged in. I'm going to go back, double check it works. Go back and hide all of our wiring. Okay, all of our wiring's cleaned up. Going to reinstall the cover. Then you want to go back, double check that everything works like it's supposed to, and then your installation's finished. Now, as far as the installation goes, like I said, you will need some sort of a controller. So if you're not running the headlights or don't have the DRLs from Oracle, you will need that Bluetooth controller as well. But if you have that, that's going to power your headlights and your fog lights, making the installation a little bit easier. Overall, this will take you about 2 hours or so, and you'll be back on the road in no time.